Hello, marketeers. My name is Jamie,
My name is Mitch.
And I'm Hannah.
and we are pleased to present our findings from two very compelling interviews with marketing professionals from Xbox Live and CI Investments. We will begin with an introduction of each marketing professional, after which we will dive into some of the highlights and great responses we received throughout this project. Both interviews were conducted over the phone and were roughly 1 hour in length. Hannah and Mitch had the opportunity to speak with marketing professionals from two incredibly different businesses, which made for very interesting content.
I had the pleasure of interviewing Vula Moran, the current Vice President of Marketing at CI Investments, which is one of Canada's largest mutual funds. As an economics student, it was great to chat with someone who's found a lot of success in a sector I've developed a strong interest in.
Annalise is a category marketing manager for Xbox Live, Game Pass, and accessories. At 26, she provides a fresh outlook on the marketing industry and popular trends. She was wonderful to interview and gave fascinating insights on marketing in the gaming industry.
We will now highlight 4 of the most interesting responses from each interview.
Given the large focus on digital marketing, I was curious to know how much of CI's budget was devoted to traditional forms. Surprisingly, Vula mentioned that 85% of their initiatives are traditional or print, and only 15% is digital. She mentioned that CI's target market is an older demographic that isn't extremely active online, so it wouldn't make sense for them to invest heavily in their online and social media platforms. I was also curious to know how much marketers are able to gather feedback and quantify the effectiveness of print advertising. Vula used the example of a billboard CI has in downtown Toronto. She mentioned that a good method would be to use location data from individuals that have downloaded business-oriented phone apps. From there, you can determine frequent routes that your target group travels and implement the advertising in an optimal location. I proceeded to ask Vula about any skill that has helped her throughout her career. She mentioned that she can write on complicated subjects in a manner that is understandable and digestible. The financial services sector is multifaceted and can deal with complex topics that can be impacted by different factors. Clarity is paramount when ultimately CI is a firm that provides solutions that could impact a client's retirement or the savings of their child's education. Lastly, I asked Vula what 2 questions she would ask candidates that are applying for her position. Firstly, she wants to know what their favorite current marketing campaign is and why. Secondly, she's interested in which of her ads they like best and what was poor about it. She asked us to see how much research they've done and how they think critically about her work and other notable campaigns.
Annalise had an interesting answer to the question, what is one skill you wish you had more of as it relates to your career? She said that marketing managers are responsible for forecasting and determining the return on investment for all their proposed campaigns. This requires using Excel and various analytical programs a lot, so Annalise wishes she was more proficient at these skills. She also pointed out that marketing initiatives must be prioritized as companies have limited assets and strict timelines. With the growing market of digital products, I was excited to ask Annalise about internet and mobile trends. She said that over-the-cloud services are currently huge opportunities for gaming companies, and owning consoles will soon be obsolete. One of Annalise's roles at Xbox is actually to help release Game Pass, a monthly subscription to gaming similar to Netflix. She also identified 2 challenges associated with marketing a new platform such as this, and I find the second quite interesting. How do you get people to change their habits? Due to the gaming industry being extremely competitive and dominated by few large companies, I was curious to know how Xbox differentiates themselves. Annalise shared that Xbox targets both those who are new to console and those who spend the most money. By marketing towards fun and connection, Xbox fills the gap between PlayStation, who tend to target intense gamers, and Nintendo, who often push toward a younger audience. Following this, I asked Annalise the strategies that Xbox has to retain existing customers, and her answer was quite surprising. She said that Xbox keeps customers in their ecosystem through highly data-driven methods. They create customer profiles such as what games they play and their demographic, and from this, they can predict how long it takes to become disinterested. At this time, Xbox will offer specific promotions that are mathematically shown to be more compelling to that type of person.
Mitch and Hannah will now discuss their 2 biggest takeaways from each interview.
One key takeaway that I got from interviewing Annalise was the challenges that come with working in a vertically structured organization. She gave insight into large companies, where there may be red tape set by high-level management, enforcing rules and procedures for employees to follow. These restrictions hinder innovation as ideas take longer to implement. Similarly, management may have strategies focused more on making money in the short term rather than focusing on the customer needs. Being an engineering student, I thought this was especially interesting to hear how a company structure can hinder innovation.
My takeaway from interviewing Vula was the continued importance of traditional advertising. You would think that a company of CI's status and size would not devote so much of their marketing to traditional forms. But as mentioned before, it is important to truly understand who you're targeting. It's also interesting that she believes there is an oversaturation in the digital market. People are now more unreceptive to these types of ads, or they're using technology that will block them out.
With respect to course-related takeaways, both interviewees emphasized the importance of flexibility in a marketplace that is constantly changing. Much like we've learned in class, companies that are able to adapt and keep up with marketing trends are in the best position to succeed. The importance of data-driven research cannot be overlooked either. Both Annalise and Vula mentioned how marketing is much more than creative, out-of-the-box ideas. There are financial consequences to each decision that must always be considered. To conclude this presentation, we'd like to leave you with a quote from one of our personal friends, Dr. JP, later quoted by Mahatma Gandhi. Thank you for listening.